Well, here we are, day, I forget, on all this polishing and gel coat repair. This is a very long process, guys. I don't want you ever to think that you're going to get this done in an afternoon. I think this is actually day 4 of all of this, and I mean, we're talking about putting 5-6 hours a day in here doing all this. I'm on the final step of this polishing of the top cap right now. We did find some errors or some blemishes, so I've resanded this rub rail right here, and I'm going to start all over on that little spot. But we're now down to this, the final BC2, which is the premium final finish leveling wax. And then we go over it with just a standard carnauba wax, not really carnauba wax, I use a marine type wax over the top of it, and you can see it's kind of dried to a haze right now. We're going to go buff that off. So I've only done this section right here, and Dad is using the wool bonnet only on the bottom down here because this is actually very, very shiny. We got a couple little spots that we need to sand out. Like there's some shadowing wherever our TX numbers were for the license area. We're going to sand that out and then finish our polishing. But so far it is just, like I said, a beating of work. And you've got to go around and make sure you get in the sunlight and look for any blemishes that you can see. This is the area that we patched, and it is very, very level and very, very smooth. But if you go around and you kind of look in some areas, we got a couple little sand scratches here and there, and we'll take care of those as we find them. We're going to finish all the polishing, and then we're going to roll it out in the sun, and that'll tell you exactly if you've got problems. So Dad's got the 800 grit right now. It's sanding off those the shadowing marks. And remember, you're removing material, and you don't want to go too far, which I did up here, and I had to patch it. So you just got to remember that you only take off the amount of material that you need to take off. But yeah, it's really coming out good. We've got the whole lower section to go, which luckily does not require as much work. It's not as hard. So we're going to continue working on, hopefully get this thing at least polished up to where we can say, hey, it is done enough that we can get back on this interior, build our seat bottoms, finish tabbing in the bulkhead in the front. We're going to get the engine next weekend, lower it in here, build our engine mounts, and then gel coat this baby. Then we can really, really start hammering on this, guys. I mean, I feel like there's just no light at the end of the tunnel. I tell you, I get discouraged sometimes. It's kind of frustrating. You get up, you work all day, and it just doesn't seem like you get a whole lot done. Polishing is fun sometimes, but after 4 days of this, I'm ready to get done. Here is the fruits of hours and hours and hours of work just on one side. You can see that I've done everything down to the final waxing, and it just looks almost like a mirror. It's about as good as gel coat could ever dream to get. And the only thing new we've done is this back little quarter. So from about here-ish all the way back is all new black, all new glitter, and it's kind of lightly blended in as you saw it previously in this video. And I cannot be happier with how it turned out. You can see the reflection in it just beautifully. We've got to finish. Dad's working on sanding off some of the overspray we had down there. He got the transom prepped. We're fixing to buff that. And then we got the top part is down to our final stage almost, so I'm going to continue all the way around with the pink stuff. But this side is complete. We have no more left to do, which is a huge relief. Now we just got about 3 more hours of you know what. One thing you got to remember is that this requires a technique and a lot of practice. Like I said before, is that this is hours and hours and hours of work. What I'm using is basically, just light pressure, not pushing super hard. When you're using the wool bonnet, use a little more pressure than what you use on these type of wool pads. But you just got to remember is it just takes practice, man. I've done lots and lots of this stuff and I had lots of my practice in, so it just kind of comes second nature to me. But when you go this, it's kind of an investment with all the supplies you got to have. But the thing is, though, the results are absolutely beautiful. If you're willing to put the elbow grease into it, man, this stuff is just going to come back just like brand new. So just remember, don't get frustrated when you're doing this. Just stick to it. Watch this. Well, here's the final product. Rolled out in the sun, because the sun is going to tattle on you if you got any problems. And I tell you, I'm very pleased so far. We haven't seen anything that's really stood out to us that's going to be a problem. We got a couple of like gel coat cracks, which you look right there, you can see it. There's a little crack right there. I've got 2 of those up here, and I think we may just take a little bit of clear and brush it in there and then level it out. I'm not sure that we're going to actually do that yet, but it's something we can do. I mean, it's really not tremendously noticeable, and the reason it's you can see it now is it's got polish in it. We can run some mineral spirits, clean that polish out of there. That way it won't stick out. So there's a couple of those here and there, but this is, you know, over a 30-year-old boat, and that's really good for 30 years old. And you can see the houses in the reflection. Look at that. Just walk around here. Nice and shiny. Everything is shiny. We were able to sand a lot of the scuff marks out of it, and there's our patch right there. I tell you, I'm really pleased with how the glitter came out. I was nervous about that, and it came out really, really good. Almost a dead-on match. If you weren't looking for it, you'd never know we did the patch there. Check that out. No swirls. It's another thing you want to look for. Look at the CVX symbol in the middle. You see how it's all swirly? I've not polished that out because we don't need to. There's going to be a big decal that's going to go over the whole thing. So you can see that's what swirl marks look like. There's a few shadowing ones up in here, but we haven't put the final wax on here, which actually does your final leveling. But my gosh, I mean, this is black, guys, and you do not have severe swirl marks at all.
As much as been sitting out in the weather for 10
Ooh,
years.
Man, I'm telling you, to be able to bring back a finish that's this old to
Literally
just beautiful.
In the weather for 10 years.
Wow.